Welcome in, Chiefs. Kick them, and I want to say Merry Christmas because your Chiefs just gave away their season. It ends on Sunday Night Football. Yes, mathematically, they're 60%, but whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It ain't happening. You heard it. You saw it. A lot of the same things that have been bothering this team all season, and we're going to break it down for you. Thank you for joining us live. We're going to give you our notes. We're going to give you our breakdowns. And honestly, a lot of bitter honesty that we all need to hear and get out. If you want on the show tonight, we are taking your comments, and we'll get as many as we can. Super chats always get an answer, and we appreciate you. Let's try to be nice to each other in the chat, though. You can vent about your Chiefs if you want, but let's be nice to each other. This is my buddy Daniel Harms, who keeps me on the straight and narrow because sometimes I get a little bit off track. It happens. How you doing, Harms?
I'm doing good. I mean, you guys, I predicted a 20-17 loss for the Chiefs on Friday. I did. I knew it was coming. And aside from the third quarter, that was the best defensive performance that we've seen from the Chiefs
all year.
It was emblematic of their season.
Yeah.
There was no, I'm glad that there are fans out there that will always be optimistic and want that to be what happens. But there's too many things that happen for a team like this to consistently show you that they, one, deserve to be a postseason team and can actually make it happen. And the Chiefs consistently do the wrong thing. Every time they are in close games, drops. This game, it was the drops. Not so much the penalties today. You're playing with 3 backup offensive linemen. Okay, it is what it is. You go for it on 4th and 1.5 on your own 30-yard line, but you punt it. You decide to not take a penalty and not go for it on 4th and 5 in plus territory. These are the dumbass decisions that get made when you are backed up against the wall. And then the funny thing about this is that when the run game kind of gets going, you come out and you go 3 and out with 3 passes, you go 4 and out with 4 straight passes, and then you run twice in a row when you're already behind. The decision making and the offensive game plans outside of the third quarter made no sense, and Andy Reid feels like he's grasping at straws because he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, the entire game, in my opinion, turned on that 4th down call. I don't care if it's a yard and a half. I don't care if it's 2.5 yards. You have been able to get short yardage plays out of your run game all season long. If you don't have anything else dialed up and you're not comfortable with your inside dives, fine, do something. But don't try to throw it when the pocket has been crumbling all night long. And kudos to most of the guys that put out effort. I thought Jay Moore played pretty solid. Really, really impressed with the Sapole for jumping in there. Mike Caliendo should be cut tomorrow as far as I'm concerned. But that's okay. That said, it was as many mistakes. The broadcast did a good job of highlighting some of them, but not all of them, because they still put Shamari Connor in positions that they couldn't handle. They're lucky Stroud missed that fourth quarter pass to Kirk because he was literally 4 yards separated. This was just too much. And I personally want to stop for a second before I get too rambling on the negative part. Chris Jones, where the F have you been all year? This is what this shit should look like every damn week. I don't know why you save it. Anybody who thinks that they're not saving stuff, they're not pacing themselves for the postseason, you're full of it and you're not watching the right game. They play down to their opponents every week to do just the bit to get by, and it caught up with them. They're going to have a nice long offseason to figure that crap out.
This is the problem with complacency, because Patrick Mahomes of the past few years has bailed them out of bad offenses and bad effort. Last year, they got lucky multiple times in the regular season. Multiple times they got lucky because their effort wasn't enough to win football games, but it was good enough to keep them close. This year, it was the same shit. It was the same things that we have seen year after year, where they're just not giving the maximum effort. And then you see the defense give maximum effort for an entire quarter. Honestly, they did for the fourth quarter too, but deflating when you turn the football over on the 30-yard line. What are you going to do there? But the first time that we see the offense give full effort was for a third quarter, and you're down 3 offensive linemen. We saw one Brashard Smith pitch today in the second quarter, and it went for 7 yards. Where'd that go? Oh, no, that's gone. Never doing it again. He's not seeing the field. the decisions again. I know the execution stuff is what it is, and we're going to hear about it not just a few plays away. Once again, just a few plays away from winning this football game.
I can hear right now.
But Andy Reid refused to do what works. He actively went against running from under center. They ran a one play from under center, got 7 yards again. But they actively put themselves in worse positions to have Patrick win you a football game instead of running the ball a little bit more, running from under center, and not helping out some of your tackles in obvious situations when they're going to rush the passer, like, I don't know, going empty on 3rd down or 4th down when you don't need to do that. A 4th and 2 where you don't need to do that. You should never be going from empty.
Ever. Not only do you need to run the ball in that situation, you cannot give them a one-way go and not even try to tease them into thinking you might run at them. You have got to keep them honest. They are too good a defense to screw around like that. It's just the inadequacies of this decision-making. And Patrick's not out of this either. Patrick threw balls behind receivers all night long. Now, was he under pressure pretty consistently? Yes. Was the pocket collapsing on him? Yes. But there is something going on. I think there's something underlying Patrick Mahomes' performance all season long that we don't know anything about because they're hiding it on the play report. The NFL is going to find them because eventually it will come out. And hopefully that means that Patrick can get back to a little bit of normalcy next season because he has gutted it out.
It's got to be the knee.
It's got to be. It's got to be. Jerron, Issa is on the 53. He is signed. In terms of longevity, I don't know what that contract looks like, so we'll find that out. But yes, I think there's some other questions in here about the tackles. We will get there, I promise you. But just to give you a little preview, Issa will be in the mix. He should be the swing tackle next season. This performance alone, if he doesn't play another snap, Dan, I'm comfortable with him being the swing tackle. Are you?
Issa Pole, guys. Issa Pole. It was here. We said it. I don't know why they cut his ass. You should have cut Wanda Morris. And you're lucky that he's back in Kansas City because that guy came out and just also, I don't wish any ill will on Wanda Morris. I hope he's going to be okay. No. Recover. I can't stand that he got hurt on the very first play. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks really, really bad for anybody. So, yes, he has not been very good playing football. But I never want to see anybody go down with an injury.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, he did just lose everything that he possibly could have had because Issa Pole played better in that football game than Wanya Morris has ever played in his NFL career. And in one snap, one game against the best pass rush duo in the NFL. Okay.
I'm going to say this kind of tongue in cheek, but there is a thread of truth to this. Issa Pole may have had the best single season of any Chiefs player this year because that performance, not only was that very, very solid, but he shook off the contagion that exists in the Jets headquarters. He was able to release himself from that and not like pay the price. That is a feat in and of itself. It's like he walked through Ebola in 75 miles of contagion and walked out without a scratch. It's impressive. The stink from the Jets is real. It invades everything. So I'm very happy for him. I just don't know what in the hell the rest of this team is doing. Thank you, Brenda. We appreciate it. And a lot of people are going to appreciate it. You guys get those free memberships, hang out, hit the chat, use all the aspects of it. You have my game notes. If you are one of the members, rookie and above, you get all the rants, you get all the behind-the-scenes stuff, the stuff that, quite frankly, you probably need this week because I think we're both going to go off. I'm going
to be very honest with you guys. A few weeks ago, I knew this season was going nowhere. That was where my frustration was let out. That's where I did that rant. At this point, I've accepted that that's what this Chiefs team is. I have accepted that this is a fraudulent football team. I still believe it's one of the most talented that we have seen, but there is no effort. Okay. There's no Rashee Rice not running his route all the way full on a 3rd down and no one gets open. Andy Reid only scheming up out routes on a 3rd down that are pick plays. You won't let your receivers run real routes. You won't develop them properly. And when you put them in positions like where you have to win in man coverage, they can't succeed because they aren't being taught how to. Okay. Yeah. like I'm at the point now where Andy Reid, he does not need to be fired, by the way. I'm gonna get that out of the way now, because you shouldn't ever do that.
It's not the answer. It won't fix the problem.
No, and the problem is the people underneath Andy Reid. I think Mike Kafka, if he doesn't get the job, needs to come back. That's not because I think it's the same kind of thing happening with Matt Nagy or a Doug Peterson. Kafka has worked with Brian Daboll. He has a differing opinion now. He has a better understanding of not just what Andy Reid wants to do, but how the NFL offenses work. I think that would be a good idea. I'm also of the opinion, I know Ryan's not, but Mike McDaniel, get different opinions in the damn room. I don't really care how it happens. It just needs to happen. So that's where I've been at for a while now. And again, back to Connor Embry, should also be fired right now after the game, because he's not doing a job of any wide receiver coach. I guarantee you, he knows nothing about what's actually being taught. I could probably teach. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go there. That's inexcusable.
Let's not go there.
They need to be taught better about how to run routes, about how to release, on how to use intention and sell routes. Because when I watch Xavier Worthy run a real route on his own, he can win. He beat Derek Stingley. He did it. He beat him.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
They ignored him the rest of the ball game. They called his plays, they got him the ball, and then they went away from him. X was the thing that was moving the sticks. And it's inexcusable. And I've been calling it for a couple of weeks because he's been able to do that. He's just got a unique ability. Tyquan Thornton was able to make some cuts tonight. Yeah. They were rounded off out routes, but it was an improvement. You could have done that all damn night. They were not taking that away. They were not scared of that from him. So keep using it. You don't have to just fold it back in and say, oh, we finished the first page, so we're going to go to the next page. Do it until they stop you. For the love of God. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm punching buttons I don't mean to punch even.
Oh, you're fine. I am. If anybody comes in here, like, I get it. Everyone's been waiting for the Chiefs' downfall. You would kill to have the success that they have had. So if you come in here to talk your ish, be respectful about it. I'm all good with that. But if you start calling people names, we're going to ban you right away. Just
there we go.
That way.
And Gary, FLDB, please ban away. Feel free.
Yeah.
Open season on trolls. I couldn't care less. I don't have the time to deal with that BS. No. So to Daryl's point, now what? Now is the season. Right now, I want to know what's going on with Patrick's knee. Yeah. I thought it popped up. I thought they've been doing a pretty good job dealing with it. It's more significant than I thought. And at this point, is there anything to lose? If he's not 100%, you don't risk him. Not with 3 of your starters out. If you get the O-lineman back, then okay. Then we're back to normal, and I'm fine with that. I hope Trey Smith can do that. Again, Issa, great. But not going to war with that, with Patrick hanging out there over and over and over. Because as every player, once a rookie puts stuff on film, he gets beat up because teams will attack him in a different way that they have found works. What was your impression of Moore? Because I want to get to another question here. And Daryl, they're gonna try to patch it together and try to give some hope. Travis is done. I think his behavior on the sideline, he's toast. He's done with it. I don't think he has enough to come back.
Mentally, I don't think he has enough to come back. I feel like he's just not engaged. Not nearly as much as he used to be anyway. But to your question about Jalen Moore, it was up and down. There were some good snaps. He, again, got beat around the soft shoulder too much on the right-hand side, and that's not all his fault because they didn't help him out in obvious situations when he was going to need help around the edge, and they just didn't care. But I think he played about as well at right as he did at left. So, and if that's the plan going forward, again, like I have expected it to, I actually had a back and forth with Mr. Swartz on Twitter over this week because I was talking about, I think that Jalen Moore is going to be playing right tackle for this team. And, he thought he should be playing left tackle this week. And I didn't, I mean, I get it, but I also was like, I think he's the future at right tackle. I just thought that he would play better there. And he's like, well, I wouldn't put him over there if we don't have enough tape to suggest he can, which I fully get. We all fall into this thing of the NFL is moving guys around, right? On left tackle, right tackle. I also fall into that as well. It's something that we project, right? And mentally, right? I know that defensive ends have caught up in terms of athleticism and speed on the right-hand side. But predominantly speaking, your best pass rusher goes on the left against the left tackle. Predominantly speaking, matchup wise, you'll get a few things like that. But I thought Moore played okay. I want to see more from him on the right hand side because I do think that is a realistic option for them at right tackle next year.
I agree. I also agree with Mitch or Jeff, whoever you were talking to. I would have played him on the left tonight. But I agree. His permanent position is on the right.
Yeah.
But I think that made a difference? I don't think so. I'm impressed with the way Issa played. Had Wanye not gotten hurt, Wanye would have been better on the right-hand side. And it comes down to a handful of plays. It might have been enough to turn the tide to let Mahomes actually get a W out of this. Then we'd be having a very, very different conversation. So either way, hindsight is what it is. For Nub, yes, Simmons and Pole will not be your bookends. Moore will be one of them. He is under contract. He's $15 million a year. You're not going to bench him for a rookie. But Pole will be your swing, as far as I can tell right now, and I'm really happy about that astonishing revelation. That's
hey, Mark. My Wi-Fi did not drop today. I've been fine today, Marks. That's rude.
Dang it. Mr. Gooch, he is back with us, folks. You've seen him a little bit lately, over 30 months back with us. He is the man, and he's got a good list here. Kelsey, Connor, Tranquil, Pacheco, Hunt, all the D-line besides CJ is ready to go. Well, you can't get away from GK. He will be there. And Dan, I'm just going to ask you before we get to the rest of the questions. I felt like the Chiefs did what the Louisville coaches did, and they got Ashton Gelati to go inside, and it sparked his game. And I thought he put up a good performance tonight as well. Was it earth-shattering? No, but he contributed and he made some plays. What did you see?
Yeah, it was the best game of the season. Best game of the season. I also think it took Chris Jones getting everyone fired up for him to play better, just like everybody else, which I can't stand that it takes professional athletes, sometimes somebody else along the same line, to get in your ass and say, play harder. That to me is disrespectful to the game that you play. If you need someone else to tell you, and this has happened to Chris Jones too, by the way. This happened to Chris Jones too. It's not just singular to Ashton Gelati or some of the younger players. Chris Jones has been needed to someone to tell him to play harder. Like, let's not forget that these things happen. So I thought it was an excellent effort from him. And that's the problem is for me, I still think that's the best that he's got. It's good. It's useful. He's like a rotational piece.
Okay. But and if you're right, I can live with that. I think he has more upside. I think he might need different coaching. And I will say this, you have a very good point. You shouldn't need that motivation, but I will say as a rookie in that room, it's difficult to be the leader. So that's what Chris Jones is here for. Chris Jones is an excellent talent. He showed what he can do and that he is still capable of doing it. The fact that he doesn't every damn week is a problem for Chris Jones, but it's also a contagion for the rest of the room. Let's be honest. Perry, thank you for your support. This team feels lost. I agreed with the 4th and 1, but not the play call. Andy and company need to take a hard look at and make some big changes. Now is the time to look at the draft. And believe me, we will be. Dan is well ahead of me on that. I had a nice conversation, if you guys missed it, with Kent, our old buddy, which is funny, Dan, because it was supposed to be a questions show, and we ended up spending at least the first 10 minutes talking about the fact that we don't talk enough, the four of us. So we are going to do that some, but we did start looking at the draft. And with this loss, the Chiefs are in range to possibly be a top 12 pick in this draft. I think, should they continue to screw around, they could be even higher, in which case we're talking about a top-end talent on the defensive line no matter what. I have nothing else to say about any other position but D-line right now. Do you?
The only thing I will say is if they're on 12, it's going to be tough to get up there. Like, they should be looking to trade up. Those edge rushers are going to go fast. But if they don't be surprised if they draft a corner, okay? Because there is a realistic possibility that Jalen Watson is not on this roster next year and Trent McDuffie gets traded. That is a realistic possibility you have to look at, okay? I'm not saying it's going to happen because I don't know, but I think it's a very realistic possibility. You might be trying to acquire another first-round pick, especially if you're that high. You want to take this draft and try to just go right back into a playoff mode next year. You can do that if you do that, but you can also trade up with another first-round pick. So just don't be surprised if it's a corner, and don't be upset if it's a corner, because I still think in that situation, this is a very good corner class, guys. And I've done lots of work on this corner class, and there are some very interesting and fun options for the Chiefs in the first round.
And we're going to go over them all, and that's the reason why I disagree with you. And folks, Dan and I will have this conversation and argument right up until the Chiefs are on the clock. So be prepared, be with us all offseason, because the draft is coming quick this year. Beach, thank you. Only one good take from this game may be that they see 20 as a starter. I also think Isabel did a good job. Big changes needed. Again, Noel, a little bit hit or miss. I will take the frenetic.
I don't think so.
I thought he missed a couple of jams. Again, like over aggressive. I will take the frenetic part because he is definitely on his way up. This game made him better.
It wasn't. I saw the tweet from Nick Jacobs. I think he's wrong on that, by the way.
Oh, I didn't see that. What was it?
He said if the reason he's not in the field is because he didn't pass somebody off properly. It was 2-man. I believe after seeing replay, it was 2-man, and he was just covering his player, and Nick Bolton just did not go to the running back. He ended up blitzing.
So, yeah, that's absolutely right.
So if we want to look in a microcosm of who was wrong on that play, do you ever think that Noah Williams should be trading off to go take a running back when Nick Bolton should be there? No, that's not how that works. The Chiefs don't also play a ton of man match. Like, that's not really their thing. Or zone match, excuse me. They don't pass there's a match that I'm thinking of that I can't think of right now. But it's not his responsibility to pass off there and then go blitz. That's just not his responsibility. I think Noah Williams was fantastic in this game, and at one point they just stopped throwing the ball to him. They just stopped doing it. Well, and also because Jamar Conner was in the slot, so they were like, "Hey, let's go throw to him." But Noah Williams played his ass off in this game. Outside of that BS penalty, that was nonsense. Oh, God, yeah. It was absolutely atrocious. But Noah Williams. And I'm not going to forget that he was basically benched for no reason. I will never forget that.
Well, we don't know if there was no reason. There's no public.
Okay, until I am given proof, it is for no reason because I have no information.
Fair enough. I will tell you this, just a funny little note. I heard someone say on the mic, someone on a sideline said easy money, and I went, "Oh, are they talking about Jamari?" I don't know, but that's the concept.
Yeah.
Mr. Cooch, yet again, thank you. We wasted a year of prime Mahomes. Hi, Dan. And I agree with you, and I think this is a big deal. This is, hey, Pat will do the job again. Well, Pat's now limping again. Pat's now hurt again, and now he's a year older. And I agree with you. Absolutely good. This is going to be one of my offseason themes, too. That is a mistake. That is a tactical, strategic mistake that you have no excuse for. Cedric, thank you. Can somebody please tell me why Jones keeps going outside on 3rd and long when he's killing on the inside? Because 3rd and long, they want to be able to crush the outside. Just crushing the pocket. Stroud can stand in there still and step into a throw. They want to get that encircling move to get Stroud off of his spot. That's the only reason. I agree. Once you did it 3 or 4 times, I don't think it was worth it anymore. Especially when you're getting good push up the middle and he is just floundering with handwork against those interior offensive linemen. I don't think they attacked Ursery enough tonight either.
I mean, there was a lot to go around. Chris Jones is winning wherever he wanted to. It didn't really matter. Wherever he wanted to line up, he was getting what he wanted. And that's part of the reason why you line him up everywhere, right? You kind of want to get CJ Stroud pressured from different places. You don't want him to get comfortable getting pressure from the exact same spot. So you're moving Chris Jones around and trying to find different ways to get after to CJ Stroud, which I think worked for the most part.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Take this one. I'm going to find one that I just mistakenly.
All right. The old pass. Thank you for the 5. That fourth down call was one of the dumbest football calls I've seen since the Seattle interception in the Super Bowl. And he literally gave them the game. I mean, yes, I would agree with that. In the sense that your defense is literally shutting them down. They've done nothing. And your offense is dealing with 3 offensive linemen down. And if you allow a touchdown on a short field, guess what? You have to now go score a touchdown. It's not about, oh, we can hold them to a field goal. It's about, can we stop them from scoring a touchdown and forcing our offense to play from behind when our defense has done nothing but destroy them. And our punter, by the way, is having a fantastic game, pinning them inside the 20-yard line. No, let's go ahead and do something risky that probably won't pay off.
It wasn't even the risk itself. It was the way you identified the risk. It was the decision to go was not the problem. The decision how to go was the problem.
I still don't necessarily agree with going for it there.
Okay.
I think in a tie game, and most of the time, if we're closer to like the 35 or the 40, I'm probably go for it in that situation. I thought they were a little too far back, and specifically with the way the defense was playing. That is something I am leaning into. I am saying pin them deep and let them tee off because they've done it for an entire quarter plus, and I think they can do it again.
Yeah, and in the aftermath, one thing I did agree with Collinsworth today it was bringing up the fact that when you do attempt that and fail, it does take some of the wind out of the sails of that defense that had been crushing all quarter. I do think that is cumulative. It's not just separated offense to defense. If you guys like what we're doing and how we're talking, make sure that you subscribe and make sure that you join Rogue Nation in the memberships. There's a ton going on, and we are a full service channel. You will have us all off season as well. If you've never heard of the Athletic Matrix or of Bleacher Report's draft coverage, that's what we do. He separately from me. I am not on Bleacher Report, not trying to say that, but you will have our staff's draft guide, etc., as well as all the metrics. So I know everybody's thinking draft tonight. We got you. Make sure that you're joining us. Does Andy allow or follow 87 into retirement? No way in hell, as far as I can see. I just can't see him doing it.
Me either. I don't think he's ready to retire. I don't think he should. I'm not going to be sitting here saying Andy Reid needs to be fired. Andy Reid needs to leave the game. I just don't think that's true.
And I will say this. I hope that he feels like he could see it from here and reacts by strengthening his staff and removing yes men and actually trying to develop players. Because let's be frank, it's not just the things that aren't being done. It's the things that are being done, like dropping the goddamn football, Rashee Rice. That's like how many games now? 4, 5
in a row,
fourth quarter drops when you have to get something done. Again, Patrick not as accurate as he needs to be. Some of those were partially on him as well, but that's your damn job. You catch balls from him every single day. That's what you're here to do. I just can't fathom it. Still, no true wide receiver one. Arguable. We'll see what happens. And Texans said no Kelsey today. They did. And they did a good job. And Petry's a hell of a player. When he comes up as a free agent, I don't mind him coming in. I'm just saying. I think he's the kind of guy that Tyrann Mathieu used to be. You know what I mean? He's somebody that brings an edge and says, I'm going to hit the hell out of you whether you like it or not. And for everybody who gave me static 2 years ago, when I told you Kamari Lassiter was going to be a player and I wanted him in Kansas City, this is what you reap. You didn't sow it. You didn't get it. So, sorry. I just want to stand on my box for a minute.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
And Green, you have a point. Every time Pat struggles, we say he's injured. I do.
And it's true. Like 95% of the time. He's hurt right now. Like we saw him putting the knee pad on. Like we saw him putting that on in the second half. So it's true. And the fact is that it's the plant foot, the plant knee, which creates problems with generating enough velocity in the cold to throw the football where it needs to be. So I don't think that it affected every single throw. I just think that it was very clear on the deep balls. They were all underthrown. When they've typically been overthrown, that shows me that there's a little bit of a problem with the plant foot. And I tweeted out, all of them have been underthrown. I got lots of people saying, oh, well, he's hurt. I'm like, well, I didn't qualify it. I just said it. Said it. Like, relax.
But that also highlights the fact that it is new because he has been overthrowing for most of the season. So something has gone on. Girk, hope you're doing good, buddy. Thanks for the support. I want new talent and new leadership. Replace Reed. Offense hasn't performed in 3 years. Make Spags the head coach. Use Fulton and Amanahu money to get new vet leaders. That's the problem, is you just can't go out and buy leaders. It's got to be a bit of a handoff. And maybe they're a little bit more stuck in their ways than even I am. Which I clearly admit I am a little bit more old school that way. But I think you got to go out and get talent. Get guys that can do the job first. There's not enough pass rush on here. George Karlaftis, this game, again, I thought he played well. This type of game has to be every damn week. This is your job as a professional. And I don't know how they get that out of him other than changing some of the people that are in the coaching.
I mean, last week, where was the effort against the backup tackle? Where was that? Where was it then?
Right.
I don't get what needs to happen for these players to consistently give you the effort that is needed for them to be at their best, because that's what we see for a quarter at a time or a half at a time where they're playing well, but it's not consistent. And at some time you can only say, well, every week is the playoffs for us. It's not. It's not. We have proof to suggest that it's not, because you don't play with the same effort. And those losses in September matter a whole hell of a lot more than they used to, right? They didn't used to matter. But now if you don't give effort in September, you're going to be out in November, December.
This is the way it looks. 6-8, Kyler says that's coming next. I don't know. We'll see. 6-11 could be on the way for all I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
At this point, I have no more absolute faith.
I don't think they're going to lose to the Titans or the Raiders. I know it can happen. I don't think it'll happen. But honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they lost to the Chargers and the Broncos. Like, finish 8-9.
Yeah, I agree. Jordan, is Andy laughing after the game like he did at halftime? Only joke
tonight
was him. I didn't see him laughing. Did I miss the halftime report or something?
I didn't see it. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't either. If he was laughing, well, I don't know what the hell you're laughing at, Coach. Sorry. Kyler, thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you. Reality is Mahomes made Andy look way better than he actually is. Now he gets to ride Mahomes' coattails into the Hall of Fame. Great job, Big Red. What do you think of that from Buki? Thank you, Buki.
I mean, no. I think they both made each other better. And that was evident in the early parts. And then, honestly, it was evident again when Andy had to make Patrick play a little bit shorter. He had to make him.
Sorry, he answered it.
No, you're good. You're good. That's pretty telling. It's pretty telling from Andy Reid. If he's laughing at something like that, he knows he knew it wasn't going to happen. So, like, this is the kind of BS that I can't stand, and why I need to see fire out of somebody in a press conference. They need real fire. But I think that they both made each other better. I actually think Andy made Patrick better in the sense that when the deep ball did disappear because they traded away and defenses got better, and took the deep ball away, he made Patrick change the way he played. However, now the opposite needs to happen. Patrick needs to say, I almost did it. I almost did it. Like, real bad. I almost went full rant on that one. Patrick needs to now push back and tell Andy what's what, because we saw him basically just bash his head against a wall.
Well, and there was one point, and I'm trying to pull it up in my notes as to where it was. There was one point in the game where he was noticeably angry. He got up off the ground, and they only showed it for a split second, but he's screaming at the sidelines about the play call. That's the only thing that it could have been, because he knew he set up the offensive lineman to get crushed. It might have been the Caliendo play. I can't remember, and I'll have to look it up in the rest of my notes. But there's definitely frustration between Mahomes and the coaches as well, and that's got to be resolved. I hope it can be resolved this year, and they can come to Jesus. I don't know. I'm not saying I have faith in that, but it would be a good thing, because that would give you a fresh start for next season. Hope we're drafting another receiver. They definitely will, Jerron. There's no way not to. they're going to lose a couple of guys, but Hollywood being one of them, who did make a couple of nice plays today, but also just, I don't know. I wish he'd fought against that interception a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much of a guy that's a finesse player. Yeah. Fair enough. I can admit that when I'm done. That said, Beach, am I wrong for calling for Veach's job? I'll let you take this one.
I mean, when there's a season like this, you're always going to have people that get like overly upset and calling for people's jobs who I don't think deserve to be losing their jobs. In situations like this, you typically have to take one step back and look at what's happening. And if they don't change, then we can start calling for jobs, because we are seeing now what's happening, right? We're seeing how that's working. We're seeing how, okay, we need to change the offense here. We need to maybe change up the way the defensive ends are going. And if they don't, then we can start talking about jobs like that.
Fair enough. And Night Hunter, I appreciate you for not crashing out. You sound like my kids, actually, dude. So well done. You're more modern than me. But before we go much further, Richard Bassett, before I ban your ass, I'd love to hear what you have to say about what this poor stuff is. I assume you're talking about people with the team and not the fan base. Fan base is different, but I'd love an explanation. Hit that chat. I'd love to see you actually say something intelligent. If you can do that, I might even let you stay. Would you shut Patrick down for the season? Black and gold, you read my mind. The achy knee and supporting cast not going to get better in 4 weeks. I think Gardner Minshew has earned some time. That's the way I'm going to put it. If Patrick's not 100% healthy and you can't get your tackles back, as well as I think they did pretty well against this pass rush tonight, I'm not letting Patrick start behind Mike Caliendo again, period.
It can't happen. And this can't be one, your season's pretty much done, right? You can't lose a game like this and expect to be able to make the postseason with other teams that need to win. Like, it just doesn't work that way. So you have to look at in the futuristic standpoint, where next season is what you're going for. If Patrick is laboring his knee, you've got Xavier Worthy with an ankle and a shoulder, you've got multiple offensive linemen down. What's going to happen here? What's actually going to happen? Are you going to figure things out going into next year, or are you just going to get guys hurt? So it's probably going to come down to if you have some offensive linemen back. I think if they do get Taylor back and if they get Smith back next week, I think you see Patrick. If not, I don't think you should.
Okay. And once again, FLDB bringing reality here. This is a very good point. There is still a 16% chance, at least according to their calculations tonight on the broadcast. I'm not sure if that's actually accurate. I'll double check that tomorrow. But and Ugo, I'm going to get back to you on your comment as well. I just wanted to clear out some of the ruffians, should I call them, in here, because I didn't hear anybody actually come back and answer me, you coward.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No, that'd be too easy. Okay, roll on to the next one. Now I'm going to go take care of that.
No, you're good. You're good. All right. Thank you very much, Gina, for the two here. If you got a question, Gina, make sure you put it in the chat. If not, we appreciate it very much. Either way, we'll always make sure to answer your guys' questions, specifically with these as well. We really appreciate the support. And I know it's not fun for everybody right now. It's not fun. Just try to remember, everyone that's coming into the chat, like trying to piss you off, is just wishing that they had the Super Bowl rings as fans that you currently have. So that's how I'm looking at it. And they are going to just be upset about it and be happy. Like all the Broncos fans, they're going to be one and done in the postseason. Like, just remember, just wait for that. Brandon, thanks for the 5. Stop giving Pacheco carries. He's the worst running back out there. So glad we paid George. I can only run outside of the tackle. Karloftis. Ooh, that was fun.
Wow. See ya, Sebastian, whoever the hell you are. Or Dimitri, sorry.
So, yes. Okay. Please explain to me, James. What don't we get? Please.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
Because what we're doing is actually talking, and all you're doing is saying you're wrong and not actually giving any information. So go ahead. Please continue. Enlighten us. Make me respect that you know anything about football.
Tell me something Brandon. 15 years in coaching and 20 in media hasn't taught me already. I'd love to fucking hear that.
But yeah, Pacheco is like... there are going to be some good runs. Like, he had the jump cut back. I was like, that's not something I've ever seen him do. And then he ran right into the back of Travis Kelce for no yard, like for 3-yard gains. Like, it's there, and then it's not. It's Pacheco, man. I appreciate the support. I really do.
I hear you. Hey, Sage, appreciate you. And don't worry about that. Just hit us with the questions and we'll try to get to them anyway. There's a lot of people that support us. Doesn't have to be every minute. And we appreciate honest comments as well when people aren't trying to come in here and do this crap. So, look, I get to ban more people. This is super fun. I love it. Okay. On to our next actual question. I think we need a coaching change-up. You are absolutely right. And thank you for the 4 years, buddy. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
And we've kind of outlined the shakeup. I think as we get closer to the end of the season, I think we'll definitely get more specific because I do think there are a couple of guys that are on the edge. Some of them, some veteran coaches that I have to see what else happens in terms of steps forward before I start saying what I actually think. And we don't call for people's jobs here, but we'll tell you who probably needs to be replaced in order to improve.
I just got to hear, I have to let you guys hear this quote from Patrick Mahomes. I love Patrick. This isn't what you need to say right now. We've been close all season. At the end of the day, you got to go out there and make it happen. Until we prove it, we'll come away with losses. I know we're going to give everything we have, and we'll see what happens. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I understand what they're doing. Right now, it's the exact same thing that you've said every single week. And by doing that, you're enabling the coaching staff. True. Because you are repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. They are calling the same plays and expecting a different result. You want to be out there calling plays or having certain plays called, you have to do something different to get them to do something different.
Yeah, and it's got to be a back and forth. It's one thing when he was, a first contract player, a guy learning from Alex Smith, whatever. But now, and I'm not saying you go the opposite way. I would not give him the Aaron Rodgers treatment. He doesn't get to pick his teammates. But there's got to be a back and forth to get things sorted out.
Yeah.
Rosifus, thank you. The New England dynasty saw them cover every tiny detail to increase chances at winning. The Chiefs team takes shortcuts at every turn. If you're going to go for a fourth, run the play that always works at least 90% of the time. And that's it. You're outthinking yourselves because you're trying to race tendencies that don't have to be beaten. At the end of the day, this is a physical game about physicality against another man in a group, and you go do that. That's all that has to be done.
No, you're not wrong. No, we have a ton. Very much. Thank you guys for the super chats. We have a ton of super chats that we got to get to, guys.
Okay. All right.
We have
Here we go.
Tons.
I will ask you, fire away. Is Veach a good GM? Do we need a new one?
I think Veach is a good GM. I'm not sure he's a great GM. I think he's a good GM. But I mean, Super Bowls will give you a lot of leeway, and they have Super Bowls. So I mean, let's wait and see if they actually want to change things this offseason, because that's going to be my determining factor on what I believe.
And if anybody thinks that the front office is going to get overhauled, they're not changing scouts. They're not doing anything between now and the draft. Scouts' contracts are renewed just after the draft for the following year. Nothing's going to change. They might add to them if there's some free agent, evaluators out there. Folks, by the way, if anybody from the front office watching, Dan and I are available. So just want to make sure that you know that, because nothing else is going to fix this until post-draft, folks. Mr. Anderson. Sorry, I have to go Matrix when I see Mr. Anderson. I see Pat get good protection and he holds the ball. I would think, well, nobody is open. But I see the replay and I see guys open where he could just rip it, but he doesn't. Excuse me if I sound ignorant, but help me understand. You're not ignorant. In fact, he threw one of those balls today that went for a completion because he actually lit it up and threw it on a line that he had to do in that situation, and it went for a completion. He doesn't do that enough. And there's too much waiting for something to open up when something else is right in front of your damn face.
Yep, that's exactly what's happened. It's the Andy Reid of it all.
And thank you for your support, Mr. Anderson. I hope you enjoy the Matrix. Altrix, that's almost a Matrix tag right here. And thank you for your support. I hate to say it, and I'm a Chiefs fan for life, but we have a lot of problems fixing the offseason. Maybe too much. Need an edge rusher, need better D-line, need better backups on the O-line. Tired of Mahomes running for his life. And that's the thing. It was supposed to get better this year, and it was so promising for Simmons.
Yeah.
To lose him, and even to lose Taylor, it just was difficult. I can't say enough for the backups who stepped in tonight at the tackle spots, because I thought they had the hardest job on the field, and they did a good job. Was it perfect? No, but they did a good job. But it has to be more, and it has to be more consistent. And I'll just give you a preview. One of the names that I'm watching coaches the offensive line, because we have to see what happens from here.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you got to figure something out. Not just with that, but you can't just luck into a Josh Simmons pick. You can't just luck into that.
Yeah. An offseason of true self-evaluation and accountability. Feel like we haven't done that in the past few seasons. And Jordan, you have a very good point. Thank you for the support. That's what it's got to come down to. You were trying to make it work. You've pushed the can a couple times. Now it's come to Jesus time. If you ain't making it, you ain't staying. That's the way it's got to be. Or we know that they're not serious about maximizing Mahomes' career.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. He's 30 years old, folks. He's 30 years old. We are halfway through the Patrick Mahomes era.
Yep.
And
this was a year that they just completely threw their hands up and said, we're done.
Absolutely. Hats off to the D, though. CJ and Noah were big. You're right, Angler. And I thought that Nick Bolton played pretty dang well as well. There was one play that I saw that Cook screwed up, and it was the deep ball to McDuffie. McDuffie didn't even touch the receiver as he came off the line because he expected safety help.
Well, it's because he was playing catch technique.
Yeah.
You can tell he's playing catch technique because he's at the top and he's not backpedaling. He is expecting Brian Cook to stay in the middle of the field, and he just comes right down on the right-hand side. I know I am learning, by the way, guys, I'm learning a lot more about technique for corners, so there'll be a lot of process with this, and a lot of people are going to say McDuffie got beat. No, he's just supposed to be playing catch and trail. Okay.
Yeah, he is the front half, the nearer half of that receiver.
So he's supposed to catch the receiver and pass him off to the safety in case he goes deep, and then play trail, which is behind him in that hip pocket, so we can turn and locate the football. That's what he's supposed to be doing. But Brian Cook was already to be found.
Yeah, and I don't know what his key was. That was a problem. I thought Brian played pretty good outside of that particular play. I can't say the same thing for this next guy that Girk brought up. Thank you, Angler. Why is Edwards in? Mike Edwards is in for one reason. That's because CRW went to IR. That is the only reason. If CRW is in this game, they win. I'll tell you that right now. It may not have been a giant change in production, but it would have been the safety valve that kept stuff in front of him.
Mike Edwards is 20 pounds heavier than he was in Kansas City last time he was here.
Yeah.
That's no, sir. You can't be having that.
No, it didn't work. I know he came down. He did make a couple of plays, but consistently just not able to cover the ground that he needs to. They need a true free safety. Free safety. Rangy, over the top, side to sides, no matter what, they have to have one. I don't care if it's free agency or the draft. They just got to get one. Tight end, wide receiver, running back, defensive. Yep, all in the draft. You are absolutely right, Gherkin. Thank you. Can you explain why Noah was called for DPI? No, because he shouldn't have been. That was BS. Thank you, Perry. Thank you, Jake. I'm sorry. We're just trying to run through these because we got some big ones and we got to get through. There's 30 of them. Hell. Absolutely disgusted by this season. I hate this season. Still love the Chiefs. Need to see changes in the coaching rooms. Veach needs to have a legendary offseason. Horrible season. Jacob, you're right. I couldn't agree with you more, and thank you for your support. Let's hope that they actually have a plan to get through this and have a legendary offseason, because holy hell, there's a lot of changes coming, folks. Mike.
I got this one, by the way.
Go for it.
I got this one. Thank you, Mike, for the 5. Why did they ever cut Isapole? He played well. I feel like this is another example of how the staff doesn't know what they're doing. It's very funny you mentioned this, because as I was talking with Mitchell Schwartz, he also said that he doesn't feel like they have any idea where to play offensive linemen. Like they just have no clue. And this is another example of just that. Isapole was obviously heads and tails a better player than Wanya Morris was.
We said it in training camp.
And they cut him. They don't know what to do with offensive line talent. They have no idea how to develop it, and they clearly don't know where people should play. Okay, there is something going on that needs to change, and that, like Ryan was talking about, might have to be Andy Heck leaving, because this is getting inexcusable at this point. If Isapole can come in after Wanya Morris gets hurt and basically has, I'm not going to say shut it out, but he completely outplayed him the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, noticeably different. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Teddy. Appreciate you very much for the 50 spot. Hate that I'm even asking this, man. Are we sure that it's impossible that they would fire Andy? It feels like it's impossible. And that's mostly not because of the performance, but because I understand the relationship that Clark Hunt has with him. And I don't think Clark's ready to go there. It would take a debacle. Like, they would have to lose out, in my opinion, for that to happen. And even then, I'm not sure Clark Hunt would pull the trigger. Do you?
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. I just don't. I kind of think he's a coward personally. So I don't think he would.
Two certain coaches on willingness to change the type of wide receivers to go for, not changing the scheme when it isn't working. Am I crazy to suggest? You're not crazy to suggest it. And maybe retirement is only a couple of years away, but I just don't think anyone in leadership will do that until Andy decides to walk away, unless it's back-to-back losing seasons. I think that's got to be the prerequisite. Thank you, Teddy. Very much appreciate it.
Pretty much.
Rosefus, appreciate you as well. Personal decisions are killing us. Obvious passing situation will be go 3 players who cannot cover. I had to stop there for a second. What are we even doing here? Go nickel or dime. They try to play a style of dime that is multiple safeties, and that's the problem, is they have all box safeties on the roster except for CRW, and that's why you saw what happened tonight.
No, it is, guys. It is what it is. But when we talk about playing dime, right? How about earning an extra dime with one of our new one of our new sponsors here at Underdog? Make sure you guys are getting in on the action, because now you can do it just about anywhere.
Underdog just dropped prediction markets, spreads, totals, and team outcomes. And the best part, you can combine them with player picks for bigger multipliers. It's available. You could sign up today with the code RGR Football and make a $5 fantasy entry to get $100 in fantasy bonus entries. Prediction markets are live now in 25 states, including Texas, California, and Florida. And Underdog is available in over 40 states with player picks and draft games. Prediction markets, player picks, all on Underdog. The Padawan has become the master. That was well done. Damn, son, that was good.
Thank you.
Gooch, thanks for being with us and supporting us yet again. Let's also remember those Chiefs may have played a season plus more games than anyone else and have the mental fatigue as well. You are absolutely right. And that is another offseason theme that I plan to really harp on, because the number of games this core group has played is significant. And as much as I keep drawing things to the New England dynasty, there was a gap there as well. And I do think that was fatigue based. Thank you. Dan, you are an inspirational talent.
Oof.
Yes, he is.
Thank you. We're trying over here, man.
Getting it all. Altrix, another one. Thank you. Rice to it, consistent, be a number one. Worthy needs guidance. Kelsey has been decent this year, but he had 4 drops that turned into picks. That's a very good point. And that comes from coaching. That comes from technique. It comes from learning to run your routes better, so that you don't have to do a whole lot with your arms, so that you're in better position, akin to the defender, to use your body between you. That, unfortunately, is true of Taekwon, and you guys know how much I support Taekwon. If he leaps for that ball in the end zone to go put his hands on it, that's a touchdown. He's not coached to do that enough.
I also it's nitpicky. It is. He had to slow down. He did have to slow down to come back to the football, because Lassiter shouldn't have made a play on that football. It should have been thrown a little bit in front of him. Just again, that's nitpicky. It wasn't a bad throw. It was just underthrown enough that he had to come back and slow down for it. So, like, these receivers aren't developed properly. And I know that we say that they're inconsistent, and all of that stuff is true. However, it's because of their development and the routes they are being asked to run. I still did not see one single Rice slant. Not one. Baffling. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, I agree. Brother Rick, thank you. No previous dynasties won their Super Bowls consecutively. That being said, a good draft in 2026 will do this franchise wonders. You're right. And thank you for being a positive note. I appreciate you. And that's very much where we will get to when the season is over. Buki, thank you again. When is a reporter going to hold Andy accountable instead of being scared of the organization? And Andy butt kissing needs to stop. Well, here's the thing. They try. I know everybody in the room. I talked to at least 3 times a week. There is a thing that should you ask the wrong question, you will be removed from that room. You'll be dropped off of communications like I am. They can't risk professionally being removed from the room to come down to our level because I don't get access. I don't get Andy's one-on-ones with the press media. I don't get any of that. And that's why. That's exactly why, Buki. It's tough to do your job that way. Why is Rice dropping so many balls? The suspension had an effect on him. I'm convinced of that, Dan. Do you disagree?
I mean, I slightly do. I
Yep.
don't think it had any, because he came back and he was perfectly fine for like 3 weeks. He was really good. He still made some really good plays against the Colts. He was great for the second half. Like, I just think that he's being asked to play the game a way that he never really had before. It is very different from his style and that he played with, at SMU, probably even before then. So it is learning a whole different thing, but they're also not accessing the best parts of his game. He was also an inconsistent pass catcher in college. He didn't catch everything. He made some really great grabs. He also dropped some balls. Like, it was inconsistent. So he's shown the ability to make really good catches and then also just drop ones that make no sense. And that seemingly happens to just about every Chiefs receiver.
I'm going to address this real quick. If you guys would like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. Ian, I'm guessing you have no idea who I am or the fact that I coached some of these players. Well, guys that are retired now. But the amount of time I put into this, if you think I think I'm an expert, you should see what I really think. So I would invite you to go the hell away unless you want to hear the truth, because that's all I'm going to tell you. See ya. Ross, appreciate you. Chris Jones needs a clap on the back. Travis needs a kick in the butt. Which coaches are on the firing list? We've kind of gone over that already. I don't want to call anybody else out. That's the way that we will approach it in the offseason. We will talk about what changes need to be made in our opinion. I don't think we need to do anything else, Dan, do we?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good there.
Okay. Destination Feast, welcome to the memberships. I hope that you have a good time, and thank Minotaur or whoever gave them away this evening. I know there was someone, so cheers to
Brenda,
you guys.
yeah.
Giving McDuffie $30 million would be catastrophic. Keep 20 and 35. They'll both be, Jalen will be cheaper. One of Trent McDuffie or Jalen Watson is going to be gone from this roster. I think that this injury, especially if he misses time, may actually save them some money. Am I wrong?
Possibly. I mean, I see where you're coming from on that, because obviously an injury puts a wrench into what, honestly, not just the injury, but the game against the 2 weeks ago, the game was not great either against the Cowboys. So there is that too. I think he was, again, playing the right technique when he got hurt. That wasn't his fault, but there are some extenuating circumstances. It's possible that they might want to extend him as a nickel only player, which I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that, but we've seen what Jalen Watson and what Noah Williams can do on the outside. And I think that is something to be, I don't know the word I'm trying to say. It's something that should be trying to reach that there, trying to get those kind of players on the outside, longer, bigger guys they can play there. Trent is fantastic, but he does get beat by bigger receivers, twitchier guys on the outside, things like that. So I don't know.
I'm getting the warning message here, so we're going to try to run through these. Owner, GM, and head coach failed us this season. You'll get no argument from me. There are problems on every level, and they have to continue to get working. It is not just continue to move along. I won't call it a rebuild, but they definitely need to retool.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Perry, have to get out of the system guys and bring in new blood. Agree. Did it with Reed, Drew, and others, but now it's just bringing guys back, CEH and Wanya. I don't think either will be back yet again. Do you?
No, I don't think so. Not at all.
Okay. KB, if Pat had a sore knee and we have two backup O linemen and 22 is out, why wouldn't we play Minshew the rest of the year? That's kind of where I'm at.
Pride. This team has been the same way in terms of the pridefulness of it. They're still technically a mathematical chance they can make the postseason. True. So they're probably not going to just throw in the towel, even though it feels a little bit like they have it to some point.
Agreed. Thank you, Lemuel. Thank you. If this means this season is probably done, what positions would you look for to get in the first round? D-line, 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 D-line.
Yeah. I'm looking at edge. And again, if the situation looks like it does at corner next year, where you might not have one or two of those players, corner is absolutely on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Christian Fulton thing is over. There's all
Boy.
kinds of things that have been failed experiments. And the good thing is you can take some low cost experimentation. They've allowed things to grow too much, like the Anthony Hitchens contract, where it just got too unwieldy. They have to dial some of that back.
Yeah.
Frustrating part is it took an injury to 22 to get Noel on the field. Good point. Very good point. Imagine if it could have been instead of Connor for 15 games. Frustrated. I don't blame you, dude. I don't blame you at all. That is the problem. Is even Spagnuolo, who should not be immune from this criticism, only did some of the smartest things when he was forced to do them. The love affair with Connor is part of the problem. The insistence that you continue to let just Mike Dana actually made a play or two tonight. That's not something he's capable of doing every game. The fact that you try to take a pass rusher as a rookie and make him into something that he's not, to two gap or to take on doubles and play a zero tech, it's just dumb. It's not smart ball. And that's the thing that I think they've gotten away from too much.
I would have put Nolan at nickel before I put Shamari Connor at nickel. I'm just going to say that right now.
That's interesting, especially with CRW out. Andy's tonsils were tickled. Well, sometimes
I think everyone's tonsils will tickle today just by throw up, not by anything else.
Yeah, that gag response is in full effect right now. Are we really giving up? 10-7 is definitely possible, and we can get us in. Come on. Okay, Ugo, I appreciate you. P.S. played scared in the first half. A little bit, yeah, and I think for good reason, because even when he puts the ball in his best player's hands, they're bobbling it into the opponents. I can't tell you anything else. But Ugo, you got a good point. There's a mathematical chance. There always is. Look what's happening to the Colts. They're done. Without Jones, they're done. And they're going to plummet.
Even with them, they were done. Like, Daniel Jones wasn't playing well anyway. Like, it didn't really matter.
So, yes, there's still a chance. And until they're mathematically out, maybe I should just cool my jets. You have a good point. Girk's got a series here, I think. Andy, Chris, Travis, Veach, Spags, Mahomes, early success, making them not adaptable. If not jobs, what would you change? Y'all are the best. Thank you, Girk. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
And that's a very good point. Sometimes success makes you feel like you've got it all figured out and you don't have to adapt as much. There is a time when you had Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, you were able to make the league adapt to you. That's not the case anymore. And maybe that's the hard part to get over.
It is. I think, again, success breeds complacency sometimes. And I think that they kind of got in their own ideas. Patrick can save us here. We can figure this out right now. Our defense has been able to make it in the big moments, but it's not always going to be that way.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you. Appreciate you, Girk. Shefford, appreciate you as well. I think O-line, D-line, wide receiver, LB coaches need to go. Along with the offensive coordinator, drops aside today, Mahomes was not great. I can't argue with any of that other than the linebackers coach is coaching them to play the way that Spagnuolo wants them to play. I think if Brendan Daly goes back to the D-line, you see something different. I don't know if it's better, though.
I don't either. I'm not entirely sure what the configuration would look like. I just think that they need new blood. They just need somebody new on both sides of the football.
Agreed. Val, thank you again. Story of the year is coaching malpractice or flat out arrogance. Too many players being used incorrectly and too many mistakes being allowed. New England cut. Yeah, I mean, they started to make changes when they got to this point. And I do think, I hate to bring it back to them all the time, but they are the most recent example. They're the most, I think, comparable example of a generational talent that you had to continue to rebuild and resurround with other unique talents. And that's where I think they've gotten a little stale lately.
Yeah, you always have to be adapting to just what's happening in the NFL. Patrick is obviously a generational talent. He's one of the best quarterbacks to ever live. But you can't just do the same things over and over again. Eventually, defenses will say, fine, we won't let you do that. Now, do something different. And if you can't do something different, you will lose no matter how good your quarterback is. And even though Patrick, for 90% of the year, has been fantastic, it hasn't been enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think Veach is I'm guessing time has come back to bite him, or Veach's decisions have come back to bite him. We paid the wrong players and let a couple of wrong players go. Victor, I don't want to disagree with you. There are certainly a case to be made there. I think the Karlaftis contract was a little bit overinflated, a little bit early. I would have made him earn it one more year. But I do think he made the right decision on Snead. Snead has not been able to play a season since.
Yeah, correct.
Like they got out of the way of dodging that bullet. They've made some evaluation mistakes, some things. I mean, how many times, Dan, when we're sitting here live watching them draft players, they do things that were not even within a round of where we had them ranked. And sometimes we are a little out of our normal area, right? We're not consensus, I would say. Brugler and McVay, all those guys, like they do their own thing. McVay, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself with the analysts here. But they're just out in left field sometimes. Wanye is one that stands out to me. Breland Speaks was another, you know. It just, sometimes they're just out in left field. Wretched Mess, thank you. Give the heartiest and most heartfelt F you to all the poisonous trolls. Yes. I'm trying not to drop F-bombs. Delighted to have 3 Super Bowl rings, 5 Super Bowl appearances. Shout out to Maddie and Kirk. I appreciate everybody who's been here for that. Maddie and Kirk, I'm guessing you're getting shout outs. I'm not familiar, but cheers to you. And Wretched, thank you for your support. I used to do that when it was my kids. That might be a kid shout out. I don't know. Marks, did free agency doom us this season? Sort of. The cap doomed free agency, and that doomed being able to fill the gaps. The D-line in particular. We called for it all offseason. We called it even after you drafted Norman Lott because it wasn't enough. Yeah. I was this the first time I actually mentioned Jerry Tillery's name ever?
Twice. I mentioned I have in my notes twice. I'm like, hey, that's literally the first time all season I have said your name in my notes. That's a problem. It's a big problem.
Andy's situation, sorry, Tom, is Andy's situation will turn out like Bob Sutton, right? No, I don't think so. I mean, in terms of like letting it go too long, possibly, because just the fact that you have Mahomes, if you can keep him upright, he will sustain Andy longer than maybe most situations for Bob. God, there's too many Bob references the last couple of days. I'm actually happy and okay with the O-tackle play tonight against that pass rush, I'm sure. Caliendo, not so much. Agree with you. And I don't mean to run down Mike. I know his mom watches a lot of this media. She's commented to us on Locked On before. And Ms. Caliendo, I'm not trying to run him down. He's just not prepared to do the job that he needs to do. I think he's a solid player. I think a better scheme exists for him out there. So that's all I'm saying. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Thank you, Jacob. Thundarius, well, poop. Cheers to you, buddy. And check out the shop. And check out Thundarius' channels. I'll ask you this one. And thank you, Lucky. Thanks for the support. CJ has been sandbagging like a king with his money. Where's he been? Rice is not sticky. Keller looks emotionally depleted.
I'm assuming that's Kelsey. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to keep making some victory laps, guys, but I'm going to keep making some victory laps because Chris Jones is still playing well early in the season. And I told you when I did the film breakdown that it was going to start breaking in the second half of the season. I told you that was going to happen, and it is happening. And it's not just because they've needed it, because Chris Jones finally, not just effort-wise, but just winning a little bit quicker. He's been dominant for the most part, even this year, without his I know his win pressure rate or whatever it is, his win rate isn't what it used to be or what it has been in the past, but they're all still there. Like everything was still there for him. So that doesn't really surprise me. But Rice is inconsistent. And I think that he's a microcosm of the entire Chiefs offense and the team itself. They're just inconsistent. They don't have an ability to play an entire game at the level that it takes to win football games and by extension win championships. Like it's all inconsistent. And if Patrick isn't bailing them out, they're getting beaten by something else, whether it's a drop or whether it's a miscommunication or someone not running the route properly or the running back running into a tight end. Like, I don't know, man. It's all just going wrong. And right now, I think Travis is dealing with this season tougher than he's dealt with any season before. This might be the toughest season he's ever, maybe outside of the injury, his first season, this might be his toughest NFL season.
I agree. And it looks like it's worn him out. It's just out there. Jacob, Justin Simmons was available all season. He was, but I don't think he was the answer. He's over 30 years old. I don't think he plays as well as he used to. And quite frankly, I don't think he plays the way Spags wants him to.
And where is he? Isn't he still out there? Like,
yeah, he's
no other NFL team has come asking.
Exactly. No one was willing to take the chance on him. I'm still waiting for Menachue to prove his worth. Well, you don't have to wait much longer, Michael, because his contract's almost up. Beach, early picks to win the Super Bowl. My money's on the Rams, no question.
I mean, sure. I think it's going to be an NFC team this year. I mean, I love the Rams. I don't know right now who's going to win the damn Super Bowl. I don't think anybody on the AFC side is good enough to win the Super Bowl. If the Texans offense gets hot, I would bet them to make the Super Bowl from the AFC side. But if you were to tell me the Packers or the Rams won it, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see it. I'm just glad that on a year where the Chiefs aren't going to get in there, it doesn't look like the Bills are either. So sometimes
they did win today, even though they shouldn't have.
Exactly. Hire Schwartz as line coach. Yeah. I like that. I don't think Jeff's ready. And I'm sorry. I don't think Jeff's ready at all. I don't want Jeff in Kansas City. Sorry, Jeff.
No.
You're a little too.
I'm not sorry.
Do the media thing. I think Mitch could be a good line coach. I don't think he should be immediately become the line coach.
Yeah,
he needs to be an assistant. It needs to be assistant that isn't Andy Heck. That's my personal.
Wants to be. Yeah, if he wants to be.
Like, yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. If he wants to be, I think he can be a good coach. If he doesn't want to be, you're not. It doesn't matter. Like,
exactly. I mean, he got a baby and everything. Like, Method, appreciate you. It just came in, but what are your opinions on Nagy? I feel as if the offense has been stagnant since he took over as OC, but wasn't talked about because of Super Bowls. I mean, that's true, but that's also the evidence, right? Because of Super Bowls. So I don't think he's had as much derogatory influence on this offense as maybe everyone who wants him out thinks. But I will say this, when Andy and Mahomes are not on the same page and neither of them are performing well, he's not picking up the slack. He's not preventing the decline.
Like today is a good example of that. If Patrick's getting mad about the play calls, why isn't Matt Nagy stepping in to say, hey, Andy, why don't we try something different? But he just sits back. He never interjects. So while the offensive structure is Andy Reid, the play calling is Andy Reid, Matt Nagy just says, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. They don't need that.
No, they need something new. And honestly, they need some damn common sense.
Yeah.
This all gets too tricky. The overriding season for me on the offensive side is just too damn tricky. Just do the basics. Line up under center. Throw the ball to the open frickin' guy. You know,
wild. If you strip it back to the basics and you start just do it that way. Like just run, like you said, or run the damn ball under center. Just have a 5-step drop back, run a slant, see if you can complete that. Like these are simple, basic concepts that the Chiefs refuse to do. Like if you look at what everyone around the NFL, Christian Watson took a slant on 4th down for a touchdown today against single man coverage. You think anybody could possibly win on a slant route? Maybe, but they never actually let them do it.
Right. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because they like these receivers that are built small. Rasheed's the exception. And you saw what happened to him on a big hit over the middle, the one that Beach is talking about here. Did he make the catch on that big hit? I didn't think that he did. He didn't even come down with it, did he?
I absolutely thought he did.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong play.
However, it was moving a lot like throughout the process, so I can understand why they kept it an incompletion on the field. But I do think because of where the ball was, even though it moved around in his arms, like it came down and he hit it and he hit down. I thought it was a catch.
Okay, fair enough. I just clearly wasn't paying enough attention. It was a bad throw. It was behind him. You could say that about several throws tonight.
I think he's talking about the Tyquan Thornton one, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was right after we were talking about that.
Okay, gotcha. I saw someone ask a question about Poli. Okay, that's coming later. Okay, we'll finish that up. Val, also, not an excuse. 4, but he needs to be in the game plan, not sporadic targets. I'm so frustrated to see the philosophy, especially when you look around the NFL. Yeah, there is this concept around the NFL that if you have a good player, you feed him and you let him win his one-on-one matchups. If he comes up against a Derek Stingley, who, by the way, Xavier ran all the way around all night tonight.
Yeah.
If you come up against somebody you think is a force, okay, maybe you dial it back and you go elsewhere. But if you have an advantage, you push it until they take it away from you. It's very simple math. And I think that's, again, something this staff doesn't do well. They get too damn cute, too damn often.
I'm with you.
Should they all take Fano, the Utah tackle, because Moore is cheeks? I don't agree with that. Moore is not cheeks.
I don't think he's cheeks. However, I don't even know if you're getting Fano. Because tackles go high. It's not a great tackle class, and I think he's the best of the tackles. Dude. And Brandon Thorne also agrees with that. He is his top-rated tackle at the moment over at Bleacher Report. I don't think he's going to last to where the Chiefs are, personally.
Okay. I haven't even begun to look at tackles yet, folks. I'll let you know when I get there. But also, you don't need a first-round tackle at this point. Unless there's something we don't know about with Simmons where we don't think he's going to make it back, or there's something going on mental health-wise that you don't think he's going to be significantly stable, then okay. But otherwise, I don't think that's where you need to go as your highest priority. Brocephus, D's are jumping bunch formations and muddling up to destroy quick passes. We insist on spamming. Why not spread the field more? Double twin formations. I love double stacks. I think it's an easy way to get a secondary release for a smaller receiver that can actually hit the ground running, receive the ball, and get yak. They don't like doing it. And it's not a West Coast formation traditionally, and Andy doesn't like to break tradition.
I mean, he's done quite a bit of stacks and quite a bit of his double twins, but they're just relying on scheme. They're not asking players to run.
They're not actually stacked. You know what I mean?
There
one
are
in front of the other.
Yeah, there are some stacks, but it's not like consistent enough for that. For me, I want to see more real over routes, like just legitimate over routes, intermediate over routes, not deep posts, not drags. I want to see a real damn backside dig. Where the hell are those in the offense? They are non-existent.
And if they are, he doesn't get to them. It's pretty straightforward. Terrence, hope you're doing good. Thanks for the help there, buddy. With the cap situation this offseason, should the Chiefs cut Taylor and Moore and move forward with Simmons and Pole? That saves about $28 million, could be used on maybe a pass rusher or a skill player. I mean, that's definitely a good question to ask. I don't think that's in the cards for Moore because I think they paid him at a level they're comfortable with to be their right tackle. I think the plan is that it's Simmons and Moore as your starters, Pole as your swing in case somebody gets hurt in this case. After tonight, I'm way comfortable with that.
Yeah, me too. And I think at the end of the day, Pole gives you something that you didn't have and you didn't even know you had because you cut him.
Yeah, because you effed it up all damn season. You made him be a Jet. How do you recover from that? I'm still, man. Thank you, Terrence. I didn't mean to move so quick, but we got a ton, and Locked On is going to get ready to record here in a couple of minutes. Everyone's blaming Veach is ridiculous. He answers to Andy and Spags. He doesn't answer to Spags. He tries to cater to Spags and give him what he wants. He doesn't answer to him. He gets crap players they want. He gets players they don't see that don't see the field, and that's the problem. Is like I personally feel that this staff, whether it's the coaching staff influencing the front office or just the front office, they get too hung up on a single trait that they like, and they ignore the rest of the package or the fact that you don't produce in college. If you don't produce in college, you're not going to produce in the pros. If you do, you are one of the rarities, one of the 5% players that has to be developed. If you don't produce in college, I don't want you, period. Because I'm taking that bet every single time.
Those production matters. That production matters.
Yeah. Can you fire an entire staff? The question mark is. With 3 straight Super Bowls, what are we talking about? It's about the fact that you weren't able to provide your generational quarterback with enough support to get him back to another one to compete for it. It's the fact that if they lose again, and even if they win, they are unlikely to even be able to compete in the playoffs. And that's the disservice that I think most people are fired up about. That's what I'm fired up about.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing here is that there's been so much success. It's hard to get to a season like this for everybody covering the team and for the fans to say, yeah, it's okay. It's frustrating because you set up for success. You want them to have success. And then this is even, I think if we thought they were going to struggle, this was not the way that we thought they were going to struggle. It's tough.
Yeah. Tater, can Pole play right tackle? I think that he can, but I went back and I double checked his Wazoo snaps. I didn't go beyond that, but he played all left tackle.
Yeah.
He is a left tackle that has to learn to go to the other side. Same thing with Moore. I'm not going to move Simmons now because he's just too damn natural at it. So you have 3 left tackles. Somebody's got to learn to play on the right-hand side.
At the end of the day, I think it's going to be Jalen Moore, but I would not be shocked if Asa Pole is just better. I'm going to say it right now.
Ooh, I like that. And here's the thing. If they're not comfortable with any of them, a right tackle is easier to get than a left tackle in the draft. And maybe they make another investment. Because right now, Wanya Morris cannot come back. Cannot.
No.
And they don't, and nothing against Ethan Driscoll. I haven't seen anything from him. And Pole came in and jumped him as well. There's no reason to think that he's a future player.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. El Duderino, nice to see you. The dude abides. Well, I stayed to the bitter end. Thank you. You are a true fan. That's fourth
awesome.
down at the end of the game in my mind when it happened. And I was right. I agree. And that's the turning point for you, right?
Yeah, that was it. I think that if they I don't know if they win the game if they punt there. Obviously, it's hard to know anything. They have a better shot to win.
Yeah. Yarl, appreciate you. Or Yarl. Beach not making any moves in the deadline hurt us, Beach. Sorry, I had Beach on the brain. Also, receivers can't get open versus men. They can at times when they actually try. It's been an issue for the last few seasons. I think man beaters is not necessarily the issue in my mind. I don't think they see it enough in true competition. How do you feel?
I just think that they don't run real routes against man coverage enough. Like it feels like it's zone beaters, or if it's all based on actual picks. Like they're trying to scheme up pick plays in man coverage instead of letting them run real actual slants. If you just run a slant from the slot where you get a little bit of a release outside to move inside, I don't know how you can't just create separation. I don't get it. And it's frustrating to watch this basically trying to scheme up man coverage. I keep going back to that third down in my head where it was almost designed for a one-on-one on Travis Kelce and everyone else was clearing out the middle of the field.
Yep.
But there was no other option. Like there was no other option except Travis Kelce. So Patrick's sitting here, oh, you're not open. Where do I go with the football? I have to eat it.
And you guys have heard us talk about this. I've been screaming about too narrow a game plan. When you're designing 4-man routes, when you really only have one target, that's a problem. That is not efficient, and it does not allow you to deal with consequences you weren't prepared for. Beach, thank you for all your support tonight. Have a great night, and thank you for hearing my rants. Well, thank you for hearing ours. If you want to hear all the rants, you just jump in the memberships. There'll be some this week. We will continue that. We'll continue to break it down because whether this team is out of the playoffs or not, there's still work to be done in order to try to go back next year, and we will have that all for you. Dan, anything you want to part with?
Just, guys, understand that post-game analysis is not a Q&A. Q&As are on Monday, okay? No name, I'm not ignoring you. We are not ignoring everybody. We can only fit so many things into an hour and 22 minutes, and we have to make sure that people that are giving money, like, that's something that I'm not going to ignore. I'm sorry. Like, the reason the Q&A exists is for topics, for everyone to try and get topics answered. Like these are for us to kind of air grievances, frustrations, go over notes, and then the people that are kind enough to super chat, we want to acknowledge them. So it is not after you. It's not anybody going after anybody. It's just trying to remember that there are people that do share money, not discounting anybody, any questions anybody asks. But we have a significant amount of time we have to fit in here, and we want to make sure that happens. So tomorrow is the Q&A. And we will answer as many possible questions as we can then.
Absolutely. And to FLDB's point, winning the NFL is hard. They've done a ton of it over the last 7 years. And they will do more of it. Just isn't tonight. So thank you. Thank you for your time and your patience in venting to us, allowing us to vent, and dealing with all the trolls tonight. I know there were more than usual. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
That's just something we're going to have to deal with. There's going to be a lot. If the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, there's going to be a lot. Good God. I'm going to walk down the street here in Colorado.
Hey, I'm ready for the views. Bring the views on, guys.
Yeah.
Like if you all y'all want to come in here, bring it on. I'm good with it. I will get more views that way.
Yeah, hey, it's absolutely fine. Thank you, FLDB. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, Dan, for all of your insights and keeping me straight, folks. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.